Now on WISN 12 News.
Police arrested a mom accused of going 133 miles an hour under the influence with 2 kids in the car, where she told police she was going in such a hurry.
This house dangling over the edge of a bluff 50 feet above Lake Michigan. We'll take you step by step through the dangerous process of getting it out of here.
And it's a smashing good time where the competition is fierce.
We are going to take everybody down today.
We'll take you to the Great Pumpkin Drop. We begin tonight with breaking news. There are reports of a hit-and-run crash involving multiple people. It's happening right now at 22nd and Center near a school and a playground.
Police tell us a driver struck 2 or 3 pedestrians, then drove off. They say this is an active scene. We do not have the ages of those injured nor the conditions. We have a crew on the way to the scene. We'll go there live as soon as we can.
This story now, there's speeding and then there's speeding. We have the arrest of a Walworth County woman. Police say they clocked her at 133 miles an hour with kids in the car.
And police say one of them wasn't buckled in for the wild ride. Police gave her a speeding ticket, but as 12 News' Nick Bohr reports, it didn't stop there.
From the village of Sharon looking north, you can see the long stretch of Highway C undulating for miles. And a Sharon police officer August 31st saw 31-year-old Evangelina Sanchez coming fast. His first radar reading said 133 miles an hour. And even as she slowed coming into town, she hit the village limits at 57 in a 25. He pulled her over. The officer said as he came up to her car, quote, he could smell a burning rubber smell and the odor of a hot engine. When the officer asked Sanchez why she was driving so fast in her 2016 Hyundai, she said she simply, quote, had to get home. Only one of the 2 young children in the car were buckled in, and police say Sanchez was drunk. According to the criminal complaint, the arresting officer recognized Sanchez as somebody who lives here in the village. That could be because she lives right across the parking lot from the Sharon Police Department. Police arrested Sanchez and later released her on bail. She didn't answer the door today. Besides the speeding ticket, Sanchez is charged with recklessly endangering safety and first offense drunk driving with children in the car. In Sharon, Nick Bohr, WISN 12 News.
Sanchez is due back in court Monday and could face more than 12 years in prison if convicted. Right now, a Milwaukee father is in jail. Prosecutors charged him in the shooting that injured his 4-year-old daughter. When we first reported this story Monday, police told us the 4-year-old girl shot herself and her father. But in a criminal complaint filed today, it seems the girl's father changed his story several times. According to the criminal complaint, 33-year-old Miles Kovac told investigators, quote, I did it. Kovac is facing charges of child neglect, possession of a gun by a felon, and obstruction.
Now to a house dangling over the edge of a Kenosha County cliff. It needs to come down soon. News Chopper 12 captured the demolition setup that's underway in the town of Summers. As 12 News' Kent Wainscott reports, crews have been battling the lake and the weather.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Not to this extent.
Max Lukansky has a tough job ahead, removing this house leaning out over Lake Michigan, all while record-high lake levels continue to eat away the ground beneath it.
We've probably lost, since we were awarded the contract, another foot of shoreline.
In just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
News Chopper 12 was the first to spot a demolition crane being moved into place on Thursday morning after the house was literally tied down to keep it from slipping away.
We wrapped cable around the interior of the house. It's anchored to the garage foundation.
Demolition is now set, but only after several setbacks. The latest, strong waves this week that tore apart containment barriers set up to keep debris out of the lake. Waves out here caused some real problems with that containment.
It destroyed it. It's all washed up on the shore now.
In a sense, this crumbling house is actually sort of protecting itself for the time being. Parts of the foundation that have already fallen away down the bluff are blocking the waves from causing more erosion here.
You don't know when the heck that lake is going to quit taking the land.
The situation has longtime neighbors concerned. You've never seen anything like this?
No, never seen it go like that. I've never seen it anywhere near like this. This is bad.
Wonder if the next day you're going to wake up and it's going to be right at your doorstep. Who knows?
For now, the immediate task is to get this house removed safely.
Our biggest challenge is coming from the top and hoping we don't press the whole front of the house down.
In the town of Summers, I'm Kent Wainscott, WISN 12 News.
What a picture. The previous owners moved out of the house. It's now vacant and now owned by a bank. The demolition is expected to take place early next week. Weather Watch 12 now. The sun sets before 6 o'clock now. Nice weather today, but the temps will drop tonight.
Chief Meteorologist Mark Baden is here. Mark, that's setting us up for a frosty Friday.
Yeah, it's all about whether we clear it out or not. You can see behind me just a little glimmer there of the remnants of the sunset. Pretty shot here. 47 degrees right now in Milwaukee. The temperatures are already dropping down to as low as 42 in Beaver Dam, 40 degrees in the Dells. So it's chilly, and temperatures going to go down into the low 30s for tonight, right around the freezing here in Milwaukee. So do expect to see a frost in the morning as long as we clear out. We'll talk more about that cloud cover coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, Mark, there's seniors having a smashing good time.
A game of pumpkin bullseye from 55 feet in the air. Well, teams with names like Choo Choo Chuckers and the Hickory Hurlers competed to see who could hit the target. They climbed up onto a fourth-story balcony at VMP Manor Park in Milwaukee and pushed pumpkins off the ledge. It's all for the top prize. What else? Pumpkin pie.
They can still have some fun, still be a little bit crazy. It's even a little bit dangerous when you have 100-year-olds, 90-year-olds dropping pumpkins from a fourth-story balcony.
Let her rip. Hey, and there it goes, folks.
What a sight. The Smash Squad chucked about 150 gourds to the ground. Proceeds raised today benefit a fund through the VMP Foundation.
Right now, Milwaukee police need help tracking down a pair of garage burglars. Take a look at the video from the area of 79th and Burleigh. The timestamp shows the crooks broke in around 2:30 on the morning of September 24th. Police say the two got away with several items. If you recognize them, you're asked to call Milwaukee police. The man accused of walking from Indiana to Wisconsin to have sex with a 14-year-old girl pleaded not guilty in a Green Bay courtroom. Tommy Lee Jenkins is charged with using a computer to entice a minor and traveling to have sex with a minor. Investigators say Jenkins started messaging someone he thought was a girl named Kylie in Neenah. They say that girl was actually an undercover deputy. Records show Jenkins asked the person to send him explicit pictures.
Nearly 250 experts signed a letter sent to Governor Tony Evers today. They want clemency for convicted killer Brendan Dassey. Dassey has been serving a life sentence since he was 16 years old for the 2005 murder of Teresa Halbach in Manitowoc County. It's the case at the center of the Netflix series Making a Murderer. The letter to Governor Evers includes signatures from retired government leaders as well as legal and political experts from around the country. Writing to Evers, the group says, quote, "You are an educator, you are a reformer, and you are a believer like us in justice, mercy, and redemption." They add, "After you review this case, we believe your conscience will compel the conclusion that Brendan is worthy of the exercise of your clemency power." We want to go back to that breaking news that we told you about at the top of our newscast, a hit-and-run crash at 22nd and Center. Let's go live to 12 News' Caroline Reinwald at the scene. Caroline?
Oh, this is a very tragic scene behind me. I'm actually going to step out of the way so you can see what we're looking at here. We have investigators on scene with the fire department here. This happened about 5:30. We have confirmed with Milwaukee police that at least 2 pedestrians, I'm hearing 3 have been struck here, and that the driver fled the scene. And this again happened at 5:30 this evening. We're still working with Milwaukee officials. Actually, I've got one of the inspectors coming over now. Inspector, can you tell us anything about what's happened?
Is everyone here? So I can do this once.
And we're live right now.
Okay, so we had an accident where 3 children were hit. 10 years old, 6 years old, and I believe 4 years old. The kids suffered very serious, life-threatening injuries. They're all on the way to the hospital. There were 2 cars involved in this accident. Both cars fled the scene. As soon as we get a description of the vehicles, we'll get that out to you. Now, one of the things that we really want people to be mindful of with this driving is that this is the time of day that kids are coming home from school. We got a school behind us, and when we're driving in these kind of areas, we really got to use the utmost caution because these kind of things start to happen. And we can't have people hitting children and fleeing. That's just not right. You know, we've had too many of these type of incidents, and I don't want to start saying the same thing that I've continuously been saying. When is enough is enough. Kids have to be protected by the adults, and the adults have to do the right thing. So as soon as we get more information on this, I will let you know.
Do you know what their condition? You said serious injuries. Are any of them critical?
Yeah, critical injuries right now.
Were they coming out of?
That's as much as we want to say because the investigation is still very fluid.
It's ongoing and very fluid at this time. So once we get more information on suspect vehicles, we'll provide that to you. Right now, we actually have to get back to the investigation. So thank you all for.
I just got a text that one of the kids died. Is that true?
Well, we're not confirming anything about the injuries other than telling you that they are extremely serious injuries as it relates to that, and we want to make sure that we get a chance to talk to all of the families of the children. So I don't want to come out and say things that we're not actually sure about.
It's my understanding that they were with their mother coming out of Family Dollar. Can you confirm or deny that?
I can't confirm that. I can only tell you that they were pedestrians. They were not part of any of the cars that were involved in
Any description on the driver?
We're going to get that now. We're going to give that back to you, both cars that were involved, because both cars fled the scene.
What are the ages of the children?
10, 6, and 4 years old.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so sorry. I just arrived here on scene.
Okay, so you just heard from the assistant police chief there. We have a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old child who were all struck here at 22nd and Center about 5:30 this evening. The driver is still on the run. They're still searching for that suspect. No information yet on that car that the driver was in or that driver themselves, but we do have 3 very seriously injured children here, and they do believe that those are critical injuries.
Right, described as critical, those injuries. They're looking for 2 cars. Both fled the scene. Again, we're waiting for the description of those vehicles. Caroline, if you learn anything else during this newscast, please pass it along. We'll pass that information along to our viewers.
This story now, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 7 men are victims of physical domestic abuse. That's according to recent data from the federal government. And as Sheldon Dutez reports, 2 Milwaukee women are hitting the airwaves with a podcast to help other domestic violence survivors.
Testing. You have
from a makeshift studio on Water Street.
You have yours. You got what you want highlighted.
2 abuse survivors record their weekly podcasts.
I'm Natalie Hayden.
And I'm Laverne Badger.
And this is Exposed, the podcast.
Yeah.
What's your goal for this podcast?
To reach the world far and wide, to let people know that they're not alone and that there is life after abuse.
It's a harsh reality Natalie and Laverne know all too well. Both women left long-term abusive relationships.
It started off as emotional abuse, and then it became very physical. And I have 3 girls and a boy, and so I started looking at my daughters as to, this is not what I want them to see. And so I left for good.
They started Exposed a couple years ago to be transparent.
That's where that continued healing comes into, is where we get to be transparent about our experiences.
Through laughter.
So I'm minding my business on Facebook, right?
Nobody's minding their business on Facebook, let's just be honest.
And thoughtful reflections.
It is a human right to be safe.
Yes. And there are certain things that only survivors of abuse can understand. And I think that being able to have our experiences of how we maneuver through some things, I think it's going to help other people.
In Milwaukee.
And we are Exposed the podcast. Signing off.
See you next week.
Take care.
Sheldon Dutez, WISN 12 News.
And you can download Exposed the podcast wherever you normally get podcasts on your device. And if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, we have a link with resources on our website, WISN.com. Call it a decoration donation.
After people stole some decor from a house in Milwaukee, one woman decided to do something good. Next at 5, her gift to a stranger and what the note said that she left behind.
Plus, the bobblehead honor for a Packers wide receiver, how it commemorates Jake Kumerow's time as a college star.
We want to go back to that breaking news, a hit-and-run crash at 22nd and Center.
We're going to go live once again to 12 News' Caroline Reinwald. And Caroline, police just told you 3 children critically hurt.
Yeah, and we have family members that are arriving on scene now, and so it's getting pretty emotional for everybody here. I want to step out of the way and show you what we're looking at. Lots of fire department and police department officials here. What we do know is that 3 children were struck and are in likely critical condition. We have a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old child that were struck by 2 vehicles, is what the assistant police chief just told us. Both of those vehicles took off after they struck the children. They are still searching for those drivers. I'm being told by witnesses that the mother was coming out of Family Dollar with her children. We have not been able to confirm that with police yet. They're still working on that investigation, but we do know that we just heard from, again, that assistant police chief, and he did have tears in his eyes as he was speaking to us. So it's been a pretty tough night here for investigators, family members, and witnesses. Again, a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old child struck by 2 vehicles. Both of those drivers are still on the run, and we do believe that those children are possibly in critical condition.
We'll continue to stay on top of this story, and as soon as we get vehicle descriptions, we'll pass that along as well. Thank you, Caroline.
Jay Kummerow is a Wisconsin fan favorite for his time as a Packer and a Warhawk. Tonight, he's getting his first bobblehead.
The limited edition bobblehead commemorates Kummerow's time as a whitewater student athlete. The National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum just released the bobblehead, the first for any former whitewater athlete. Kummerow set several school records during his 3 years as a Warhawk. He helped the school win national championships in 2013 and 2014. And if you'd like to buy the bobblehead, we've posted a link online in the sports tab on WISN.com. And there's an update to a story we first brought you last week. Remember this Halloween decorations heist in Milwaukee? Cameras caught a man and a woman stealing skulls right off the front porch of a home near 10th and Wind Lake. Well, tonight, new video showing the good in strangers. You see a woman in blue dropping off more decorations at the home. Some signs and a witch's hat. The homeowner shared this video with us, saying the woman also left a note behind. It read, "I don't want you to lose the spirit of Halloween."
So great to see that.
That does reinforce the goodness of people. All right. Mark joins us once again. We don't have to worry about frost.
Yeah, frost, it's that time of year. This is not unusual at all. We've already had frost across most of southeastern Wisconsin. But if you still have some tender plants out there, you're going to need to bring them in. Your mums are fine. They can take the frost. Frosty mornings, not just Friday, but also Saturday morning. A mainly dry weekend ahead. And that's focusing in on the daylight hours, which are a lot shorter now with the sun setting tonight at 5:55. The better chance of rain this weekend will be on Saturday night. Some of that rain may sneak in on Saturday, late afternoon and the evening. So if you have trick-or-treating that happens in the evening on Saturday night, keep that in mind. Next week is cold. Halloween is really cold. Yeah, this is going to be an early visit of some chilly air, so just prepare yourself for that. For the most part, though, the next 4 days are looking really good. You can get outside and enjoy that. The best chance of rain will be coming during the nighttime hours on Saturday night. How about this weekend? We're getting close. Partly sunny skies on Saturday with that rain moving in into the evening hours. And then an early shower on Sunday morning. I mean, really early, probably done by about 7 o'clock in the morning. Then we'll clear it out for the rest of the day. Temperature's pretty nice. 47 degrees right now. I hate it. It's already getting dark now at the 6 o'clock news. We've got some high clouds. These clouds could make a big difference in our forecast for tonight. If they hang around, we're not going to have frost for tomorrow morning. But if they go away enough, which I think will happen, there still could be some frost. This is picking up on some of that high cloudiness around. Then notice on Friday, it's just a gorgeous afternoon. So plenty of sunshine during the day. Saturday morning sunny, but then the clouds roll in. Notice into the evening how close that rain is getting, and rain moving in overnight. But then it departs as we head into Sunday. And Sunday turns into be a nice day as well. Here's your busy Weather Watch 12 week ahead. Lots of sun on Friday. A frosty start. 56 degrees, cold in the morning, but warms up nicely. Again, that rain moving in on Saturday night. Sunday, we cleared out. High temperatures there of 57 degrees, so that's not bad at all. And then we get into next week, and things start changing pretty dramatically. We have highs in the 40s initially. Chance of rain on Tuesday. Look closely there on Thursday. High temperatures around 40, which is on Halloween with a chance of rain and possibly even some snow mixing in. a long ways off. There's tons of questions on next week, so stay tuned. We're going to have to close this in on how this is going to play out.
Yeah, but that 32 jumped out. That freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Well, Steph, the Packers are getting ready to go on the road against the Chiefs.
Yes, they are. They just don't know yet if they'll have their star receiver back. We'll hear from Davante Adams. Plus, Giannis and the Bucks open their season on the road in Houston tonight. What the Greek Freak says about the MVP showdown. Sports is next.
Big 12 Sports, presented by Menards.
The road to an NBA championship starts tonight for the Bucks in Houston. Some are saying their season opener against the Rockets could be a preview of the NBA Finals. Giannis Antetokounmpo will lead his teammates against James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and those Rockets. And this will be the first time the last 3 league MVPs will be on the floor at the same time, something the Greek Freak is looking forward to.
There's going to be 3 MVPs on the court at the same time. Didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about the game and what I got to do to help my team win. But it's going to be fun. Going against those 2 guys, top players in this league. It's going to be fun to see if they can play together and what they have to give to their team.
It was a big night for former Whitnall High star Tyler Hero. The rookie scores 14 points and had 8 rebounds in his NBA debut with the Heat last night and helped Miami beat the Grizzlies in their season opener. The Packers are preparing for the Chiefs, and both Patrick Mahomes and Davante Adams were on the practice field in their respective cities today, though it remains to be seen if either can play Sunday night. In Green Bay, Adams again went through warm-ups with the media, watching his every move, but he was once again listed as a non-participant on the official injury report.
It's not even a game. I'm not playing with you guys or with any other team. I'm trying every day to get back to where I was, and I'm just not quite there yet. But I feel like I said, 2 million times better than what I did, and it's I made a lot of progress. I got a lot of different things I couldn't do at this point last week.
No doubt Aaron Rodgers would like him back, but of course, they had a pretty good game on offense last week.
He did. All right, Steph, thank you. We do want to go back to that breaking news. We're following a hit-and-run crash at 22nd and Center.
Let's go live once again to 12 News' Caroline Reinwald. And Caroline, the update is the medical examiner has confirmed there is now one fatality.
That's right. And we do know from the assistant police chief that all of these children, a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old, had critical conditions. And again, yeah, the ME has confirmed at least one fatality. I'm going to step out of the way and show you what we're looking at here on scene right now. The fire department has cleared out, but police investigators are still on scene. We do know from the assistant chief that 2 vehicles were involved in this hit and run at 5:30 this evening here at 22nd and Center, striking a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. We do know that they were crossing a street from one witness who told me they were walking into the Family Dollar here to go to work and heard one of the vehicles strike them. Listen to what another person told us who arrived on scene right after that. I'm sorry, listen to what the police chief had to say right after this happened this evening.
And we can't have people hitting children and fleeing. That's just not right. We've had too many of these type of incidents, and I don't want to start saying the same thing that I've continuously been saying. When is enough is enough. Kids have to be protected by the adults, and the adults have to do the right thing.
Now, that was Ray Banks, the assistant police chief for Milwaukee Police Department. You can see in that soundbite he had tears in his eyes. We're back here on 22nd and Center right now, where police are still investigating this incident, working to find details about these 2 drivers who reportedly struck these kids. Still working to get any details about what kind of cars they were in. Police have not been able to confirm those details for us. We've gotten multiple reports from witnesses here on scene, and we're going to continue working this throughout the evening to try and bring you new information.
All right, Caroline Reinwald, thank you for that update, and I know that we will continue to keep that family in our thoughts and prayers. How horrific an incident to happen this evening.
Tragic situation out there. We'll have more coming up tonight at 10. Our weather, looking outside, not too bad, but we have the threat of frost overnight.
Yeah, as long as we clear out, and it looks like some of that will happen as we head throughout the nighttime hours. And so with that, if we have the clear skies, a lot of the temperatures will drop down into the low 30s, so do cover up the plants if needed.
Thank you for your company.
We'll see you back here for 12 News at 10.